So I've been working on the nickname since the last show, and I think I'm gaining some ground with Terry Taylor. Okay.
Okay.
So I was saying double T, but really it's T squared, which reminds me of a T square, which is a shop class. And
Yep.
so I'm going here with like, what do you make in shop class? You make derby cars, you make rally cars,
A
right?
birdhouse.
Birdhouse is
Make
not
like
bad.
a bridge thing, like a
Yeah.
yeah. What else do you make? You might lose a finger.
Might lose a finger.
4-fingered Jackson.
No, this is Terry Taylor.
Oh, Terry Taylor.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We call him Nine Fingers.
9 fingers. Old 9 fingers.
All 9 fingers.
I was thinking of made me think of whatever reason made me think of Grease Lightning shop class. I don't know. It's kind of good.
Was this like the soap, those car, like the little cars that run races?
Yeah. So they do the rally. Ooh, you know what? Rallies has the best curly fries. What if we call them curly fries?
Where did rallies come from?
Okay, better. Okay, so T squared, square is a shape. Also, an octagon is a shape. And he definitely kicked butt in the G League in the octagon. So we're going to call him Dr. Ock. Because there's Spider-Man and stuff,
Dr. Ock.
Either Dr. Ock or
Wasn't that like a rap artist?
Curly Fry.
Dr. Octagon is one of Cool Keith's monikers.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
Dr.
Also,
Octagonologist.
Old Nine Fingers.
All 9 fingers.
Well, it's still a work in progress. We'll just see what we can do. I think we got some. And Birdhouse is also a pretty good one too.
Birdhouse is pretty dope.
It's called Taylor Birdhouse. I think I'm willing to. Settle
I'm gonna
on
be
that.
so confused.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so just prepare to.
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect.
Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
That train is off the track.
I feel like you can't just like jump through Neptune and be okay.
Just prepare to.
What the show needs is more dogs and bears and chickens and stuff.
Yeah, so just prepare to be awash in unbelievable goodness.
So I've got another one I need you to vote for. So I'm working on Isaiah Jackson now, right? And
Sure. Iggy.
Iggy was I was right, but then I was thinking like the Iggy and Scratchy show,
Okay.
which is the Simpsons take on Tom and Jerry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Tom and Jerry is a cocktail. It's a hot egg cocktail. So I was thinking
Sounds disgusting.
no, it's like eggnog. It's like a warm. So I was thinking about calling him Hot Mug.
Exactly. That sounds disgusting.
What about Hot Mug?
The hot toddy.
Okay, yeah, we might as well just keep going. With the word association. What about we just call him Naughty Toddy?
Let's see. Are there any other famous IJ people with IJ initials?
Isn't that the Indiana Business Journal? IJ. That's the IBJ.
It's the IBJ. IJ is Iwo Jima, which was Korean War.
Yeah.
Which is on a peninsula.
The Idge is also a body of water, formerly a bay in the Dutch province of North Holland.
which goes maybe with the peninsula thing.
Hey guys.
He's Bayside.
Bayside. Bayside Jackson is pretty solid. We might have come up with Iggy's new nickname.
Bayside Jackson?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a very clear path from A to B.
Yeah, you'll have to listen to the show.
Yeah, luckily
Great.
there's a recording of it.
Great.
Ooh, oh, no. Okay. Bayside, go to Baywatch, go to, what's the dude's name?
Hasselhoff?
Hasselhoff. Knight Rider. Maybe his nickname is Knight Rider.
He's not going to know what that is.
Yeah.
No, they rebooted it a couple years ago.
they
I
did?
was close on the song.
Yeah, it's been several years, but they did do a remake.
I'm sure it was every bit as excellent as the original.
Funny thing is, I actually was watching. I watched the first couple episodes like within the last couple weeks. I don't know. I thought it was all right.
Oh, all right.
Hey, Knight Rider it is then.
I mean, for what it is, I don't know. I had a good time. Welcome, Pacers fans. You were listening to the Undebeatables, your semi-weekly Pacers podcast. This is episode 570. Coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana, I'm your host, Joey Gaffrida, the man behind the dials and season ticket holder. This show, we're going to discuss early All-Star returns. We're going to dig deep into the clutch stats. We're going to have a stat of the week and potentially an Undegooglable if we got the time. Joining me this show are all three of our analysts, coast to coast, like buttered toast. First, from the high school home of Jameson Brewer, Silver Spring, Maryland, it's the doctor, Jason Triplett.
What is up, Pacers fans? What is up, Undebeatables? Shout out to the Groundhog, who will, by the time you have heard this, seen/not seen his shadow, which means winter is almost over, regardless.
I think we're supposed to have a snowstorm in Indiana. Does that mean it's still going winter?
I mean, best case scenario, it's 6 more weeks of winter, right?
Oh, that's the best case scenario. Man.
I don't know. Isn't that right? Or no?
Puxatawny Phil,
6 weeks.
let us know.
Yeah, write in. If you are Puxatawny Phil, write in.
Let us know what your deal
What are you
is.
doing? Yeah.
Why are you listening to our show?
I mean, he's got a lot to do while he's hibernating. You know,
It's true.
he's got to catch up on all the old shows.
Yeah, that's fair. From Moorhead City, North Carolina, he's our in-house bartender, mixes up the drinks in the crappy jingles, John Colson.
What is up, Pacer Nation? What is up, Undebeatables? It's Thirsty Thursday. Drink up.
And from Boise, Idaho, out west, it's our enforcer, John Harper.
What is going on, fellas?
Before we start the show, we'd like to remind you that you can support the longest-running Pacers podcast, which is us, by heading over to patreon.com/undebeatables, and you can support our show for as little as $1 per month. Every little bit helps, and we appreciate all the patrons we've had so far. So, Colson, the All-Star returns are coming back. The starters have been announced, and there's no Pacers that I saw on that list. But can you give us a rundown of where we are and where do you think we're going to end up before the All-Star, the final list is announced?
Sure. So we'll put the link in the show notes, but they actually announced it live on TNT, which they normally do, but this time there was no heads up, there was no leaks. They actually opened up the case with all the stuff in it. It was actually a pretty fun watch, and we'll link to that. But your Eastern Conference starters are Kevin Durant, who's the captain, Giannis Antetokounmpo,
He's
Joel
all right.
Embiid,
He's pretty good.
DeMar DeRozan and Trae Young. The key here is that Kevin Durant is injured, so he'll be replaced. But I assume they'll still let him pick his team. I don't know how that'll work.
I'm sure.
See. Yeah. And for the West, LeBron James got the most votes. He's the captain. The Joker, Nikola Jokic, is at center.
He's good.
Yeah. They got Steph Curry,
he's
Ja Morant, which will be his first.
That's super exciting. I
Yeah.
like him.
First All-Star game, which is very exciting. And then Andrew Wiggins
What?
at your small forward position. I think,
Getting wiggy with it.
yeah, I feel like this is all pretty non-controversial outside of the Wiggins thing. He definitely got a boost by being on the Golden State Warriors. He's also having a nice season, but I don't know. Paul George is injured.
Yeah.
Kawhi
It
Leonard's
was
injured.
a confluence of factors, I think. Being on the Warriors helps, and they were a good team, great team this year.
Second best record in the league right now.
They're the Warriors' official media ambassador, global ambassador, is a K-pop star. I'm blanking the name of now, but he has tons of Instagram and Twitter followers and really pushed the Wiggins bandwagon. But as you guys know, the vote is not all left up to the fans anymore, lest we have a Zaza Pachulia situation. But even there, Wiggins. So the media and the players share voting responsibilities, and both of those cohorts also had Wiggins ranked pretty high. So I don't know if he's a starter, but he's definitely would have been probably on the All-Star team, I would think, overall anyway.
Players had him ranked 5th amongst front court guys.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Well, so we know who the starters are, and the day that you'll be listening to this, if you listen to it when it comes out, they will be announcing the All-Star reserves, which are decided by the coaching staffs or the interns who work for the coaches. Will send in their picks to round out the 12-man roster. I believe it's 2 backcourt, 3 front court, and 2 wild cards.
Wild card.
You can pick whatever position you want for your wild cards. And I think that we could probably just guarantee that some of these things are going to happen. As far as the out east, I think we can say for sure that Darius Garland is probably going to make the team. I think we can say that Zach LaVine is going to make the team. I think we can say that Jason Tatum's going to make the team. I think those are some locks there. Out west, I think we can guarantee that Devin Booker and Luka Doncic are both going to make the team, and probably Donovan Mitchell and Chris Paul. So maybe that's all your guards there. And then probably a Gobert. I think that's probably a guarantee. After that, things are a little bit up in the air. So you would still have another front court position out west. Maybe a Draymond Green or a Karl Anthony Towns or an Anthony Davis. And out east, there seems to be a lot more room to play. And that makes me wonder whether we think that Domantas Sabonis has a chance at this thing, even though our team is terrible.
Numbers-wise, yeah. He's like a pretty dope player and probably would be up there. What do we feel is his competition? So you said in your mind, there's 3 locks.
There's 3 locks
in the East.
So that would
leaves
be
a lot of open space,
Garland,
right?
Garland, Zach LaVine, and Jason Tatum. I think those are the locks.
Well, I think LaMelo Ball is probably a lock.
All right. Let's add him
I'm
to
always
the list.
surprised if James Harden isn't elected to an All-Star
James
game.
Harden is probably
Okay.
a lock.
Okay, let's lock in James Harden,
I'm trying to think who else.
which
I
now
mean,
just leaves you with
Jimmy
two
Butler? I guess he hasn't
front
played that
court
much.
spots, essentially. Now, because I think Fred VanVleet has a chance.
He does.
Yep. I would agree with that.
But we're running out of guard spots if that's the
Kyrie
case.
Irving also has a chance.
Right?
Sure.
Even though just...
Really?
Not from the coaches.
I mean, players
He's only
ranked
played,
him
like-
eighth
Yeah.
amongst guards.
Yeah.
Fans ranked him 6, media ranked him 9, so he's top 10.
Which is crazy because
That's bananas. He played like 5 games.
And also shouldn't be allowed in. But
Right.
Yeah.
As far as your front court candidates go, I think Jared Allen also has a pretty good chance.
Yeah.
Cleveland has been a surprise team this season. And
And I believe the All-Star game is in Cleveland. So
it
that'd be
is.
super cool.
So it'd be very cool
2
if
days.
they got Garland and Jared Allen. Jimmy Butler, of course. Pascal Siakam is having a nice season. But, I mean, I think that last spot is definitely up for grabs for Domantas Sabonis. He's averaging 19 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists on 58% shooting.
There's not a lot of big guys, I guess.
Bam.
Front court guys. Bam. Yeah.
Bam.
He was out for a while. But, yeah.
Tatum,
Jimmy Butler,
played more
Tyler,
games than Kyrie.
Tyler Hero has been the most consistent player on Miami, and Miami's good. You could make an argument for him. He might be Sixth Man of the Year. I don't know. How do you guys feel about this? Do you think this is? You think there's a chance that Sabonis? What are you putting the odds at on Sabonis making this thing? They usually they try to give it to teams that are winning, but sometimes when the numbers are overwhelming, you get players from losing teams.
Yeah, well, I mean, or guys go with, because like you said, it's the coaches, but they usually pass it off to the assistant coaches who then pass it off to their video editor or whatever. And then, so it goes to guys that the team's game plan for. Sabonis is the guy that you game plan for. And so he's going to get a lot of attention, so. I think, and he hasn't had a lot of help this year.
Yeah, and we talked about this all season. Like, he's basically being doubled and triple teamed every time he touches the ball.
Right.
Yeah, pretty similar numbers to last year as well. Shooting a much better percentage, shooting 58% on field goals this season. But
Which is
down
amazing.
a little bit less than a point. He is down an assist and a half, but still 19, 12, and 5. So I think that puts you probably on the fence, which is where he was last year and kind of snuck in as an alternate, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, actually, that does make the injury to Kevin Durant actually much more in play here, right? Because now if you have an extra spot, it's possible that he lands that last, that 13th spot. Right?
Yeah. And guys that were on the All-Star team last year that may not be this year, did Jaylen Brown make the All-Star team last year? I can't remember.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're sending 2 Celtics to the All-Star game given their record this season. And Julius Randle of the Knicks not having a most improved season this year. So I don't know if he's going to make it. And then even a guy like Bradley Beal, who would normally be a lock, I wouldn't say is necessarily having an all-star type season. So, but he's another one of those guys that like is name recognition or whatever. Like he's the guy that you first look at when you're starting to game plan if you're playing the Wizards, So I'd put it at 40% chance. I don't know.
Okay. The guys on TNT were making an argument for Miles Bridges just because Charlotte has been such a surprise team, and
Sure.
LaMelo Ball and Bridges are kind of a 1-2 punch on that team. There was some argument to not have Harden on the team because even though he's amazing, he's had kind of an underwhelming season. But I feel like if Durant's not going to be able to be there, they're probably going to have Harden in there. He still averages 23 points a game and almost a triple-double. with 8 rebounds and 10 assists. So
Yeah, that's like a terrible year for him, I guess.
yeah,
But
it's a terrible
for
year
any
for him.
mortal man.
For a mortal man, exactly. He's not stopping on a dime like he used to. I don't know.
Stop it on like a nickel or something.
Yeah, exactly. A quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's averaging 23, 8, and 10.
Yeah.
And KD was a little bit. Obviously, they didn't have Kyrie for the bulk of the first half of the season, and KD was having his minutes managed, and the Nets were still in first place like most of the time. So, I mean, they've fallen off lately, of course, and maybe recency bias has a little something to do with it.
For
But
sure.
I don't know how people don't vote him into the All-Star game.
That would be surprising.
It would be. Well, I really do hope that Darius Garland and Jared Allen make it because it is in Cleveland. That'd be fun. This is the first decent Cleveland team ever, I think. Isn't that the case? Happy for that franchise. They've won a title like just a few years ago, and now they're like up and coming and young and exciting. Man, and we just continue to win 41 games.
And what's the constant between those two teams?
What do you mean?
Like
Kevin Love.
Kevin Love.
I think we could probably trade for him.
Yeah, he's the key to Cleveland's success.
I think Cleveland's giving him up now.
Yeah.
Things are going too well there.
Untradeable.
Heart of the franchise.
He's on it. And they said it's whatever they're paying him is a pittance to what he's worth.
I think they did say that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And 41 wins, Colson. Boy, what would I give for this team to be even close to sniffing 41 wins?
Well, I was just thinking about the last 5 years or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, this year 41's not happening because
No,
we
it is
can't
not.
because we cannot win a close game at all.
No, we cannot. And so, speaking of, let me update you. I've been, we've talked ad nauseum about how this team is horrible in the clutch, and I thought I'd just check in this week and see if that's still the case, even though the eyeball test tells me yes. So the answer is yes, in short. So the Pacers have played. So as a reminder, clutch games, I guess, are games in which the score is within 5 points either way, within the last 5 minutes at any point in time. So you do it briefly. So the Pacers have played the second most games like that. 28 of the Pacers, however many games we've played now, 50 games basically. Involve clutch minutes. In those games, the Pacers have the worst winning percentage of, if you compare other teams and their clutch games. We win a whopping 25%. We're 7-21 in games with clutch minutes. It gets worse. So, scoring the ball, putting the ball in the basket, making field goals is a good thing
That's
generally.
part of the game.
The Pacers, anybody venture to guess what the Pacers shoot in clutch minutes on the season?
I'm gonna go real low.
I'll give you in the regular
I'm gonna take the
season,
under.
In total, the Pacers shoot 45.6% from the field. If you look at just overall, all of the field goals that they've taken, which is good enough for 16th in the league.
Okay, I'm gonna go 38%.
Okay.
Take the under. We'll do a -10 on them. We'll give them 35.
All right, we're right there, 35.7%.
Wow,
which is
brutal.
Dead last for clutch minutes in the NBA.
I hope so.
Otherwise, no one would be watching basketball.
Wouldn't wish that on any franchise.
What's wild is the teams ahead of them. So Miami shoots 37.9%, Toronto shoots 38.1%, and Cleveland shoots 38.5% in clutch minutes. And those teams are all doing
But they
quite
play
well this
defense.
season. Yeah, good point.
Yeah,
They just don't put themselves in that situation.
Okay.
not as often.
3-point percentage. What do you guys venture As we know, we've talked about the Pacers are a bad three-point shooting team
Abysmal.
overall. Yeah, so they shoot 32.8% on the season. In the clutch, which at 32.8 is good enough for 26th in the NBA.
Okay.
In the clutch, what do you guys think is going on?
I assume it's worse than that. I'm gonna go with 32%.
Okay.
I was going to go with 0 originally, so I'll take 20.
Okay. Joey, you got to venture a guess?
27.
25%.
Wow.
God.
That
I
is
went so
really bad.
ridiculously low. I was like, there's no way I can be close.
Ugh.
And then the other thing that we are really bad at, just because I'm piling on us right now, turnovers, which have been a major issue of late. Both overall and in clutch, the Pacers are 22nd in the league in turnovers. Per game, the Pacers are averaging, where'd it go? 14.4 turnovers a game. And climbing of late.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you look overall, the Pacers are relatively middle of the pack in other things. Other than blocks. We're like top 4 in blocks. But other than that, we're middle of the
It's a
pack.
stat that means nothing in the age of the three-point ball.
Exactly. So, yep. There you have it. We're still bad in the... Still bad.
I'm seeing here that the opponent's three-pointers made against us is only 11.1, which would be good for third in the league. I think the problem is that we give up all the points at the basket.
Yeah. The other thing that's weird that doesn't meet the eyeball test, which we've talked about before, is rebounding. So rebounding in the clutch. The Pacers are 4th in the league in rebounds in clutch minutes.
Okay.
It's all Sabonis
Right? Just battling in there against 4 dudes.
Yep.
and ripping the ball away from them.
Mm-hmm. Boy, that is disheartening.
That
Well,
is
I mean-
expected.
Yeah, it explains why the record is what the record is, right?
You said that we have the second most clutch minutes. Who's been in? What's the other team that's had more close games?
So the LA Lakers have played in 29 games
Okay,
that have had clutch minutes.
and I assume they win more of those games than we do.
Yeah, 14 and 15. Milwaukee
Which for them is terrible.
14 and 14. Philly is 15 and 12. And then Boston is also horrible in the clutch, which is why their record is bad.
Right.
So they're 9 and 17 in their 26 games.
Yeah, they're also having an identity crisis.
Yep.
So what's the solution? We're
I mean, I
we're
think the
trading
solution
everybody.
is-
We're firing the coach. Like what's going on?
I don't know. I would be surprised if the Pacers don't make a deal of some kind between now and the trade deadline, which is February 10th, so a week from when this show comes out. And then we'll have an emergency pod, and it'll be fun.
I mean, I could tell you that we could sure use some shooting, but I could say the same thing about defense, athleticism, playmaking, ball handling, and pretty much everything else that makes a basketball team. So
Yeah, so you're not making one trade that's fixing all this, you know? Just definitely not. Like I was thinking the other day, I was like, man, I would love to get Torrey Craig a break because like he ain't great, and he's like starting and playing a lot of minutes for us at like power forward, and it's just like, dude needs somebody to step in and take his minutes, and there's not a trade that just fixes that, right? I mean, oh God, I mean, I guess you could go get a small forward, power forward, and put Torrey Craig on the bench, but man, or just let Knight Rider get all his minutes.
Yeah, good. I'd be in favor of that. I'd say let Knight Rider and Duarte and Gummy Bear get all the minutes.
Yeah.
Build those guys up, and then next year we'll take the league by storm.
Yeah. TJ Warren got his boot off.
Oh, did he?
Yes, he did. I saw they had a video of him working out, dribbling around, playing
Sweating.
things. Yeah.
He's a little practice.
Be ready to go for next year.
Are we trying to get him running so we can trade him at the trade deadline? Is that what we're trying to do?
Probably.
I think it's time to take a quick break. And we'll be back in the second half with Stat of the Week and potentially one or more Undegoogables, depending on how fast we knock these out. Pew, 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 pew. From the break. First thing we got for you is my stat of the week.
Joey, stat of the week.
This week, this article had me smiling. It's about Canon, the printing company. You guys, I don't know if you've got home printers, even work printers. Sometimes they've got these. They're always giving you some nonsense trouble. About warnings and all sorts of good stuff, but the supply chain pipeline is all screwed up for everybody, and Canon ended up needing to ship some of their print cartridges without the chip that they put in there that lets the printer know that it's genuine toner. And what ended up happening because of that is that all the printers don't think that they're legitimate. So now Canon is now having to tell their customers how to bypass the security warnings on these, which they're all crap in the first place. They're there so they can scare off customers from buying the cheaper third-party stuff. But now they're giving instructions on how to defeat their own the digital rights management on their own stuff, just so they can sell it, because otherwise they just couldn't sell the toner at all. So they're having to sort of bypass their own restrictions, which were crap in the first place.
That sounds fun for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, shout out to Canon for locking these down. It's a similar thing to the what are the 1 cup coffee makers?
Keurig.
Keurigs, right? So I know that there's in some of the newer ones there's a little chip in the top, like in the top of the cartridge, and if you don't buy the ones that are licensed by Keurig, then it'll either not make it or it'll give you warnings and stuff. So what people have found, the way to get coffee made like that is you take one cartridge, you peel the lid off of one,
and just glue it to the center. Yeah.
You can do that, or you can slap it on top of whatever new one you're doing, and then you get the coffee. That's how you have to hack the system, by gluing a piece of foil on. So
handy.
They're trying to provide the best consumer experience, but anyway, what a world.
What a world. What was the stat, Joe?
Oh,
Ink.
Canon.
Ink.
You know what? Let's see. I'll give you. Let's see.
How many people got fired for this?
No, I'll tell you what. I've got a per milliliter here is
Per mil.
human blood per milliliter is 40 cents, and HP Black Ink at 70 cents per milliliter. So
More valuable than human blood.
Yep.
Well, just know that the
Any-
miracle that is human life is less impressive than making ink. So,
Yep.
suck it, Mother Nature.
Yep. So there, Colson. There's some numbers there for you. You happy?
Thank you. Yes,
I
more than happy.
devalued one of your few renewable resources. Blood. Anyway, shout out to blood donors, by the way.
Shout out.
Colson, do you have an Undegooglable for us this week? I think we can. I'm in a mood to be helpful. I've been, pessimistic here for the last show and a half. I want to bring some joy into the world. What you got for me?
Oh, are we doing Undegooglables?
That was the plan.
Super excited.
You told us we had to, so
He said we signed up for it.
In the end, it's going to be better and more true than Google can give you. So this week I'd like to start with off the cuff. Where's the phrase off the cuff come from? What does it mean? When did it come about? Off the cuff.
Off the cuff meaning like typically referring to a remark, an off the cuff remark.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like not planned.
Yes. I think of it that way, as sort of an unplanned interaction, usually verbal.
And quick, sort of, I guess, right? Or like
Sort of like
there's some connotation of quickness to it, maybe.
Yeah, and you can kind of something you could dismiss a little bit. It's like, oh, it was just.
Oh, that was just off the cuff.
Good
Okay.
call.
Yeah.
So my mind goes to two things, which are magicians
Yeah.
and gunslingers that might do something off the cuff, where they would throw something at you off the cuff. Maybe.
Or ninjas
Yeah, ninjas.
throwing stars
Yes.
off the cuff.
Yeah, it felt British to me. Anytime we're talking about, clothing. So I would lean towards magicians out of those two.
Okay. Yeah, or
When-
maybe
when-
like a car dealer.
Well,
I guess.
we've talked about this before. Magicians were like the TV of the 1800s, so everybody
Right.
went to see the magicians. Is that where you would pull a card out of your cuff or something like that for the trick?
Something like that, yeah. Like things are going sideways in your act, so you're like, let me pull this flower out of my cuff just to get the audience back on your side.
Okay,
I don't know.
but that's not. But then the phrase would be out of my cuff.
Yeah, Sure.
What about a cuff link? Is this involved in a cuff link?
That's a good question.
Is that what you pull off your cuff, the cuff link?
Yeah, maybe to like if you didn't have money to pay a debt, you'd give your cufflink.
Shiny thing to distract people?
Or throw at them.
Like a Chinese.
Like a
Like
star.
a ninja.
Like a ninja.
Oh dear.
What did you? So did you have any theories? Cufflinks was your.
No, I'm just I don't at all. This is why I come to you guys. So Joey, I feel like we haven't quite nailed down the definition, because you mentioned something that was, something that was able to be dismissed, not just a, an off the cuff remark. Was kind of what Jason and I were going with, and you were like, you could just, if it's off the cuff, it's less important.
No, I mean, I guess maybe something that was not given much thought.
Okay.
Maybe that's what I mean.
I
maybe
like that.
more that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's kind
Just
of a
something-
last second thing.
Yeah, with little preparation, kind of thing. So,
Little forethought.
well, and sometimes I feel like you hear those when it's like maybe like in an interview, maybe maybe a lot of it, maybe much of it seems like pretty controlled and scripted, but then you'll hear like an off the cuff remark, which is like something just like something like just quickly like just kind of throw it in there, kind of thing, just a little extra thing that's just sort of like a little.
Well, that makes me think of sort of orators, or whatever. If like you've written a speech and you're reading this stuff, this scripted stuff, and then you think of something and it's not on your card, it's off the cuff. I don't know.
So, if you're tailoring something, if you're tailoring a suit, the only part of the undershirt that would be visible is the cuff, right? So everything else presumably would require less attention, perhaps, if it's off the cuff and not visible.
I see. So the rest of the shirt is off the cuff.
Potentially.
Like the sleeves, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if there were imperfections there, it would not be as noticeable.
Okay, that's interesting.
I like that a lot. I think tailoring is rarely the answer, but I like it.
Yeah, how does this get back to horse racing?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So if you think it's English, which I'm inclined to side with you on that. What era are we talking? Like, this is Victorian or sooner?
I like
When
Victorian.
do people have cuffs?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Going
they
back
definitely
to
had
then.
cuffs in the Victorian era, for sure. Doily cuffs, I feel like.
Yeah. Real weird cuffs. Puffy cuffs.
Yeah. Fisticuffs.
Mm.
Ooh, what about fisticuffs?
And then, so it's not Shakespeare. It's probably later than that. This is like a Dickens thing or something.
Yeah, it's newer.
Okay.
I'm feeling Shakespeare.
Oh, you think it goes back to Shakespeare?
Yeah, I do.
We haven't had Shakespeare. Hasn't won.
Yeah, we haven't
time,
had Shakespeare in a
long
while.
time.
Yeah,
I like
Googles.
Shakespeare.
Okay. And we're just saying that it's either, if it's magicians, it's later, of course, but if it's a speech giving, that could definitely go in with
Because
Shakespeare.
they didn't have magicians when Shakespeare was around. What was the?
When did magicians? Don't
I mean,
magicians
their
go back
big
to the
heyday
beginning of time?
was the
The
early 1800s, mid 1800s. I
golden era of magicians.
That's right. No, but I'm thinking, I really do like this, the orator in a play, maybe, with their lines. And they
okay,
forget
yes.
their lines, and they have to pull
So they
something
have to come
off
up
their
with
cuff.
something.
This
Or
is
pull,
definitely
or
Shakespeare.
pull their cuff up to where they wrote it down on their wrist.
Right. Yes.
So this is just for no reason at all, but the soap operas, they write the script like the day before their they actually do them. They crank these soap operas out, and so like apparently in any set in a soap opera, there's just like lines taped to the other side of a lamp and the other side of a stuff because no one has time to memorize their lines. Fun fact: it's off the cuff, off the lamp.
The first hit I got suggested that it was 1938 American English colloquial, suggesting an actor or speaker reading from notes jotted on his shirt sleeve rather than learned lines. So there's Colson would have been right, but American and not English. But let's try to back that up. That's from Quora.
Oh boy! All right, I don't know if this is right or wrong, but this is giving Charlie Chaplin the credit. Are you seeing this?
Seen that as well.
In Charlie Chaplin's classic film Modern Times, featured a scene where Chaplin's tramp writes lyrics on his shirt cuffs only to have them go flying off once he hits the stage, leaving him to improvise to hilarious effect. Chaplin starts a story with an idea but works out each scene as it comes along. Famously improvisational? There you go.
All right, Charlie Chaplin for the win. That's pretty dope.
Nice.
Never had Charlie Chaplin win before.
No. He was due.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And disposable cuffs were a thing, apparently. Or detachable.
Oh, yeah, they used to have those weird,
disposable cuffs.
little paper thingies.
All right.
All
Nailed it.
right. There you go.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm reading some more stuff that their paper removable cuffs might have been an origin for it in the 1800s, but it's definitely popularized by Charlie Chaplin. You could write notes on your removable cuffs, but again, I'm just on chat boards at this point, so.
I mean, that makes more sense than writing notes on, like, your finely tailored shirt.
Yes,
cuffs,
yes, it definitely does. I just have a few words I just want to remember for my speech on my really nice shirt.
It's also a little weird to wear paper, but 1800s,
Right. Oh dear. Well, nicely done, gentlemen. As always, feel like we sort of nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's par for the course. All right, team. Well, we're going to get out of here. We'll be back with you next week on Monday to discuss the week of Pacers basketball and all sorts of other stuff. Until then, you can find us on social media. We're on Twitter at Undebeatables. We're on Facebook.com/TheUndebeatables. Our website is TheUndebeatables.com. There's also a contact form there. You can use that to send us a message. You can send us an email. Shout out at TheUndebeatables.com. And on our website /store, you can pick up some medium t-shirts.
For the architect, Donnie Walsh, and our once and always Hall of Fame coach, Bobby Sickleonard. Turn out the lights. The party's over.
Solid.
You like stepped on the gas at the end there. Sprinted over the finish line. It's a strong finish. That was a good job.
Well, I have to make
Run
up for
through
a
the tape.
team that can't close,
Whoa. So what did I do?
I was talking about the Pacers, not you guys.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant our team.
Oh, no, I'm not throwing shade. Love you guys.
Okay. Because it sounded a lot like you were.